which Optimus Prime figure is the best. Right away, this Optimus Prime figure looks really amazing. And one thing I'm noticing that I don't like is the plastic quality on this feels kind of cheap. Now this figure comes in the Japanese dramatic capture set, which contains this newly colored Optimus Prime, as well as Jazz and a figure you may not know about. This was sent to me by Transformers. We'll compare Earthrise to the other Primes and talk about Jazz and Mainframe. Back on the plastic quality, even Jazz feels a little bit cheap. Both Siege and 86 feel better, but the Earthrise sculpt is still good and the figure has a lot of detail. But first, let's talk about Transformers, which is an online shop for the European market that sells mainline figures, high-end collectibles, and upgrade kits. I can relate to Europe because in Texas, we also have the Eiffel Tower. They sell new figures as well as restock older ones, so check them out. The head sculpt on here is amazing. This is one of the best Optimus Prime head sculpts I have ever seen. These are pretty much the same head sculpt. There's just some color differences between the two. Dramatic Capture has lighter colors but brighter blue eyes. And here's how the 86 head sculpt looks like, and both of them do look really good. Now the main thing about all of these figures is that the colors are supposed to be more show accurate, but it does feel kind of lazy that Takara would just re-release 3 old figures. But since I don't own any of these, I'm glad I could get my hands on them. Alright, we have some nice paint for the headlights over here, and the rest of the chest and abdomen area look really great. Like, even though this is an old figure, this still holds up. All the tiny little details over here, the silver paint. We can open this up to reveal the matrix and its chamber on the inside. There is some really nice silver paint over here in that gunmetal gray color. It looks really good and adds a lot to the figure, I think. Now coming over to the arms, I love all the details we have on here. I know a lot of you are probably used to this, but as someone who's never had the Earthrise mold, the amount of detail on this figure is absolutely amazing. He does have the awkward butt cheeks, so that is one big downside to this figure. Here it is compared to the Siege mold, and the details on the arms are different. This has those little forearm bits, which are accurate to the G1 toy, while this is more show accurate. Now this one also has this ugly weathering, which I really do not like. This one looks a lot more clean, and the colors on here are much better. Coming over to the back, this back piece looks horrendous. It's pretty atrocious. This has a very clean back, which is good. Comparing it to the G1 figure, obviously the details here are going to be pretty minimal, which is more screen accurate. And the back on here is definitely bulkier than this Earthrise mold. Coming down to the legs, we do have a G1 accurate white color over here, looking so much better than this gray with the ugly weathering. We do have a nice little bit of detail over here, and the fuel tanks at the side. The white colors are pretty similar, and then coming down to the legs, looking really good. And here's how they compare to the original G1 legs and the Siege mold. Now, I do definitely think this one looks a lot better. This one also has a glossier look, while this one has more matte colors. And you might notice that this has the gray painted in, while this does not. This is actually more screen accurate, just like how it is on 86. The Autobot insignia also has that classic thin outline like how it was in the show. A bit more accurate on 86 though. I spit on my phone. Ew. The smokestacks are in a nice silver color, but they do have those ugly ports, which I'm not a big fan of. In terms of this figure's articulation, we do get up and down head movement, 360 rotation, these arms out to the side, the figure will split in half, full 360 rotation, elbow bend and rotation, hand rotation, finger hinges, waist rotation, which is limited by this at the back, legs forward, out to the side, and about back over here before this gets in the way, rotation, and a knee bend, which is really nice. On the feet, we do just get a pivot. Now, this isn't a bad figure, but with Studio Series 86 out, there's not really a reason to get this. But I've never owned the Earthrise mold or any of these figures actually. And honestly, Earthrise looks so much better than Siege. Side by side, everything about this is so much better. Side by side with this though, everything about this is so much better. But what is good about the Earthrise is not only can it scale well with that Voyager Megatron that has been re-released over 100 times, he'll scale very well with the New Age Romulus. Make him kiss. Optimus comes with his classic Iron Blaster, which we've seen this mold a million times. Alright, so let's talk about Siege Optimus Prime. Now, it's not a bad figure, it's just that I really don't like the weathering on here. And if you compare this mold to the other two, it just really falls flat. I like these Cybertronian details here, but the rest of the figure doesn't really have as many details as the Earthrise one, and the gray over here isn't too great either. Studio Series Optimus, honestly, I think he's the best. He looks completely G1 accurate in terms of the sculpt. Colors on him are a lot brighter than the Earthrise one. The articulation on him is also just really great. Unfortunately, big backpack and a big ass. These are the really only two downsides of this figure. The wheels are completely hidden in the robot mode. It does also have little bits of detail on him, and overall, just a really nice figure. Now, before we get to the vehicle mode, let's move on to Jazz. So this is just a redeco of the Studio Series 86 Jazz mold. Now, Studio Series is already supposed to be G1 accurate, but this is supposed to be more accurate, like having the extra paint on the legs. So the head sculpt on here is really fantastic. Autobot insignia in silver and in red. The front piece of the car looks absolutely great. Not a whole lot of detail on the arms. The silver paint over here looks phenomenal. We have little bits of blue over here, some hollowness, which they're obviously not going to change, and some nice silver for the legs. I do like this bit of paintwork, and the feet are a nice silver. The back isn't too great. Here's a blaster for Jazz, just a simple silver color. Now I can really only compare this to Origins Jazz, which is all I have. Pretty much the same exact head sculpt, but in different colors. The visor is more blue on here. Overall, still pretty similar looking. Atrocious backpack on both of them. I do have movie Jazz in G1 colors, but I'm not really going to count this figure, so we're going to move on to the articulation. Up and down head movement, a full 360 rotation, arms out to the side, 360 rotation, elbow bend, rotation there, waist rotation, legs out to the side, all the way back, forward there, and a knee bend, rotation there, foot can move, and we get a pivot. Pretty good articulation. Alright, so here is Mainframe in his Teletran 1 mode. This really fits in with my Autobot-based diorama set, and this is the main thing that drew me to this set, because it's Teletran 1, but as a Transformer. This is the character Mainframe. You could originally get this with the ARC figure, which I do not have, or you could get it with this Dramatic Capture series. The level of detail on this is absolutely amazing. I love the displays on here. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold together very well. It's just like a bunch of panels. Turning him over to the back, it really does fall apart. He looks like he's T-posing. Right now, here's Mainframe in robot mode, and it looks, I like it. I like it a lot. I love all the blockiness and how it makes him look like a classic looking action figure. It just really tickles something about me. That sounded really weird and wrong. Hold on, this is supposed to fold back. Whoopsie, guess I'm a fake Transformers fan, but okay. The only problem is the back piece really kind of sticks out. He's slightly smaller than a Voyager class figure, and you know, one thing I actually noticed, the paintwork on here is done really well. There's no paint QC issues, which tends to happen a lot sometimes. He has a pretty good head sculpt to him. Plastic quality still isn't too great, but it is still pretty cool. I would have liked maybe some like better light piping on here. The light piping is pretty good if you can get it up to some light. I love the way the general body area is designed. A lot of really great detail coming all the way down. Some really nice colors over here and coming down to the legs. Fairly simple designs there. The legs are mainly the Teletran 1 mode, just folded up. Pretty hollow on the back, but at least I added some details inside. Overall, only a nerd would want this. And that's me. I'm the nerd. Full 360 rotation, out to the side, arm rotation, which hits into that, elbow bend, legs forward, out to the side, and a knee bend. The feet can pivot and rotate, but they're very tight. But now let's move on to these guys' vehicle modes. Here's the vehicle mode for Optimus Prime. Oh, wait one sec. Alright, here's the vehicle mode, and it actually looks really, really good. It does have a few flaws here and there. I don't like the scap over here. These parts don't really like to stay in, and this part doesn't like to close either. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Who knows? I never liked how these fuel tanks were done either, because you can easily just like push them back in. All the detail really stands out over here. The back of the trailer does look pretty clean. From underneath, he's looking pretty good. Overall, it is a nice boxy looking truck mode, if I can get everything to line up. And here's Jazz. Oh, I think Jazz has one of the coolest looking vehicle modes in all of Transformers history, and I'm really glad to own a proper G1 Jazz figure. He has some really great paintwork for the stripes going down here and over here. Mine did ship over here. I think I might have done that during the transformation. We have a lot of nice detail for the front of the car mode. It is a little difficult to get it to line up. I love the spoiler on here. However, the feet, they really do stick out. They look a lot like feet. But overall though, it's a really neat vehicle mode. I still think 86 Optimus is the best, but Earthrise is a close second. Definitely a figure set worth getting if you don't own any of these molds. And make sure to check out Transformers. Link in the description below. And why not check out this other review over here. And hey, maybe the real Dramatic Capture series was inside us all along.